Hello everyone, welcome to today's session. In today's session, the agenda is function, and in function, I'm just going to tell you what is a function, how to deal with a function, what are function parameters, arguments, what are the real use cases, what is the benefits of using functions, how many types of functions are actually available, and we'll go in details and slowly understand how the function is actually working and when to use functions and all. So let us get started, and then the first topic here is what is a function? Function is nothing but a group of code. Let's say for example, so far we are writing code without function. If code is actually 50 lines, 100 lines, 500 lines, whatever we have written so far, it is like everything is sequentially we are writing it. But think about reusability perspective. Are we writing the code which we can reuse? The answer is no, because we have not yet, written anything using the function. So function is a code a block, you can say a block of statements or a code which can do repetitive operations. For example, let's say you are going to calculate the salary of the employees. You can define a function which can actually calculate the salary of employees. Let's say the line is background guys. You want to start a process on 100 servers. Define a function which can actually connect to the server. The parameter should be server name, user ID, or basically you can specify the keys, authorization keys, and using which we can actually connect to the server and then get the things done. So those are the things what we can actually do. And similarly, if you want to actually reuse anything, let's say for example, your requirement is create hundreds of buckets in S3, and you want to write a function, you can actually write a function saying create S3 and pass the parameter your bucket name, specifically like bucket 1, bucket 2, bucket 3, or bucket 1 200 sequentially you can actually create, or anything as per your requirement. In those cases we are going to write functions. So why we are going to write functions? Definitely we can eliminate the duplicate piece of code. That means if we are actually doing some operations right now, let's say create a bucket S1, written 4 lines of code, again create a create a bucket S2, again you need to write 4 lines of code to do the same thing. Think about, okay, if you don't actually make it more complex, then let us consider you want to actually add 2 numbers, and if you want to add 2 numbers, then what it is going to do, you can take input 2 numbers, then get the sum of the 2 numbers, then print it. This is what you are actually going to do. Now if you want to actually do the sum operation for 10 pairs of numbers, then you have to write at least 20 lines of code, because you need to take input, then the print statement. You need to do that. So how do you minimize it? You can write a function which can take 2 inputs as argument and can return the result, okay, or can print the result based on the requirement. You can actually do that. So to minimize the code, you reduce the duplication in the in your program, you can actually write the function. Then the second one, what we can actually do is we can break down the complex requirements into small pieces. Let's say for example, you want to actually connect to a server. First of all, you need to check if the server is up. If the server is up, then check whether you are having password, or now you are having the passphrase to connect to the server, passphrase, or authorization tokens. You can actually say connect to the servers. Then you can write another function, okay, connect, server is up, let us connect. Once you are connecting, let's say you want to actually start up something, you can have another function, start my app. The start your app function is going to start the application respective nodes. So you can break down basically one complete requirement, you can actually break it down. Think about one passport application. When you are actually applying for the passport, what are the things you are actually doing? You are actually providing all the required documents. Then your KYC is getting verified. Sorry, I mean your information is actually getting verified. Then before we go with the information getting verified, you have to take appointment. You have to pay for it. If that is successful, then you can actually go on the given day of appointment, right? And then submit all your documents. The verification is done. They will check, and they will check if take a photograph and all the formalities they are going to do. Then at last they will be giving a acknowledgement, okay, we have received your application and it is under process. Then the remaining process will be like getting started, then your passport will be getting printed, and once all verifications are actually over, then your passport is going to be dispersed and you are going to get your passport at your residence, basically the address whatever you mentioned. Think about what are the core functionalities we can actually build over here, like application, submitting the application, billing, or like you can say appointment, you can say like a document verification, we can say getting an acknowledgement number, then you can actually check your status, then you can actually get the dispatch services. Like for everything we can write functions. So the same set of functions applicable for everyone, let's say for example salary processing for employees. You want to write a program, the employee should be active, only then we can actually do the salary processing for this month. Or if employee is serving notice, first you need to check if employee is serving notice, employee will be like getting the salary in a full and final settlement. If employee is actually not serving that notice and employee is actually active employee, then we need to check how many days leave employee has actually taken. Then you can verify what is the basic salary, what is like the various details about the salary and including the tax slab, right? You can actually calculate the salary and then post it. Okay, the employee X, the salary amount is Y, and post it to the finance department. Then finance department, what they can do, they can actually process your salary. Before processing the salary, they will be actually checking if your bank details is actually available or not. If bank details is not there, they will be sending a notification saying, hey, you go ahead, update the bank details in the portal. So all these things are nothing but functions. Okay, so similarly, to minimize any complexity, to break down the complex requirement into small pieces, you can actually definitely use functions. Okay, and then and another thing is you can improve the clarity of the code by using functions too. If you're familiar with any programming language, you can understand what do you mean by clarity of the program. Okay, clarity of the program. Like instead of writing thousand lines of code, just make sure like you're writing small pieces of code within a block, and that is known as functions. You can reuse it as and when required. And the last but not least, you can say like we can also hide the information. When you are actually saying like hide the information, it's we are not hiding because anyone can open the code and then see it, right? Hiding means it is like information hiding. For example, you have some books at your place. You are actually arranging it and keeping it in the rack. Why? For, for better management, right? You can actually search as and when required. Similarly, whenever you are writing a complex program, you should break down into functions. You can refer the functions. Okay, and I'll just let you know like how to define that. Let us do one thing. Let us get started like with the function definition. The function definition, when you are actually going to deal with the function definition, the first part what we need to do is we need to remember the keyword is def, and we need to specify def then followed by the function name. Here we need to give the function name, and then we can specify the function arguments or parameters, and then we should give a colon over here. Then as always we should actually use the indentation. Indentation is like 2 characters or 4 characters. Now here 4 spaces, 1, 2, 3 and 4 spaces I am going to use, and here I am just going to define the function body. This is how the function is going to look like. So now think about like I have mentioned about like parameters here. What are those parameters? The parameters are nothing but the arguments to the function what we are actually going to pass in the runtime. If you ask, with the parameters are actually mandatory to write the function, the answer is no. We can actually define the functions which doesn't need any parameters. So let us get started and write like the very basic program of function. Then what we can actually do is we can actually deal with passing arguments to function, and then we'll deal with various types of arguments to the function. Okay, so let me start that. Okay, So now here we go, new Python file, and just giving here function example. Okay, now this is the basic function. I'm just going to write. I'm just writing here define. Let's say I'm just giving here with, and here I'm just giving uh, print hello world, hello world. Okay, now here if I'm giving calling the function, if I want to actually hide it, I can hide it like this. It is like define with which is actually hidden. Okay, so now if I want to actually expand it, I can actually expand it like this in PyCharm, but in the VI editor we cannot actually do this. So now here the function definition is there. Now I'm just going to call the function. I'm just calling the function like with. Okay, now if I'm running the program, let us look at the program is actually saying hello world. Now I want to actually call this function 10 times. Like I can actually do this. Now run the program, you can actually see here, you can see the output like hello world, and hello world. Okay, so this is how you can actually call the function. Now what the function is going to return, like we are not returning anything. Let us see what the function is actually going to return. Let's say if I'm giving print of quiz, it is actually going to print because it is not returning anything. It should return like none. And if you want to actually check what is the type of quiz, this is also going to print as none as well, because it's not returning anything. Now here you can see it is none. See here, when we are giving define quiz function, we are not returning anything. By default, all the functions returns none. If you want to return something, there is a keyword known as return. So far we are not familiar. Just remember, if you are not having any return statements within any function, it is going to return as none. Okay. So now this is how we can actually deal with a function. Now I want to write some function. This is function without parameter. If I want to write a function with parameter, how I can actually write that? Now look at here. Now function with parameter. Okay. Now here we go. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to copy paste the same piece of code and then put it here. Instead of with, I'm just giving here name. Okay, with I'm just giving name here. It is interesting, just try to understand here. Now I'm just giving name, and here I'm just giving hello, and my PyCharm is getting stuck. Here we go. Yeah. Hello, and then here I can specify hello, and then just giving name here. Okay, hello and name here. Now look at here. If I'm giving with Subhasis, okay. Now here I'm just giving name equals to Subbu. Now with name is variable. Now look at here. Here I'm just passing a string. We'll see what is going to happen. And here I'm just passing a variable. Let us see what is going to happen. Whether it is going to work as expected or not. Let us verify it. Hello Subhasis. I just given the value. Here we are actually passing value, direct value as argument to this function, which function. Okay. What's happening with my PyCharm today? Yeah. So now here you can see I'm just calling the function and passing the value as Subhasis here. Okay. And then in this case, I'm just passing the variable, that is nm is Subbu, and then I'm just with nm. It is actually giving me with nm over here. If you ask what is going to happen if I'm specifying with, then followed by, here I'm just giving, let's say, your guess and Deepak. Your guess and Deepak. Okay, two variables or two parameters. Guys, remember the function is defined with single parameter name. Now here we are calling with two arguments, that is your guess and Deepak. Definitely it is going to throw error. Why? because function requires parameter 1 and 2 is given. Now here itself type error, type error. Now here you can see what is the error. The error message is actually type error, which takes one positional argument but two were given. So this is the error message you are going to get. So now this is like function with parameter. Let us write one function that is to do the arithmetic operation. I mean maybe any arithmetic operation. I'm just going to do a sum of three numbers. Basically we can pass three numbers. It should actually return the sum of three numbers. How do we do it? Now let me write another function program here. Function, let's say param example 2, param example 2. Now here we go, and I'm just going to write function like define sum. I'm just giving n1, n2, and n3. Okay, colon. Then here I'm just giving print n1, n2, n3. I'm just giving like this. Okay, n1, comma. I can put a plus sign, and then here I'm just giving n2, again a plus sign, right? Then we can actually have n3. n3 here I can specify n3 equals to, then here we need to give the result, maybe equals to, I need to specify in quotes like this. Okay, then comma n1 plus n2 plus n3, done. So now here I'm just giving like get me the sum of 10, 20, 30. Get me the sum of 100, 200, 300. Now, if I'm running this program, you can actually see it is going to work as expected. It is saying, okay, N2, where is N2? N2 I've quoted, so that's the reason it is actually throwing error. So, not throwing error, it is printing N2. Now, if I'm running this program, here you can see 10, 20, 30 equals to 60, 100, 20, 200, 300 equals to 600. This is how you can actually call the function. What if you want like the numbers should be mm, from the runtime environment, like the user should pass the numbers. Here we can actually specify, let's say n1, or I can see here num1, comma num2, comma num3 equals to, I'm just writing it differently. Let us see if it is going to work. Input of enter three numbers, okay, then dot split, enter three numbers, dot split. And even if we are actually splitting it, okay, even if we are actually splitting it, let us see like now what is going to work, like now how it is going to work, like let us see. Now if I'm specifying here like print num1, num2, num3, let us see like what is going to happen here. Now it is asking enter three numbers. I'm just giving 10, 12, 13. Now it is saying 10, 12, and 13. It is printing 10, 12, and 13. Now if you want to call this function like sum num1, num2, num3, it's just the same. What you need to do here is you can specify here sum num1, num2, and num3. If I'm running this program, here you can see, let's say I'm just given 12, 11, and 13. It is actually printing 12, 11 plus 13 equals to this. Okay. And one technical takeaway from here is I'm just using, let's say for example, something like this. Okay. I have a list. Okay. List I want to unpack it. So split always returns here if you can see like split, right? A split is going to return, in this case it is actually doing a splitting and then returning it, right? So if my input is something like this, it is a string, right? I'm just giving input equals to let's say I'm just giving string here. Now print, if I'm giving here input dot split let us see what is going to happen. Now here you can see okay, 11, 12 and 13. Oops, mistake I have done, like I should specify space because we are splitting based on space. So now 11, 12 and 13, and then here you can see it is returning a list. Okay, now if I want to unpack it, let's say I'm just giving here I'm just giving un1 or n1, n2, n3. I'm just giving n1 and n1 comma n2 comma n3 equals to then this number, right? I'm just going to unpack it and showcase in the session that is the g. So now here you can see print n1. This kind of unpacking is also possible. You can actually unpack it like this. There is also unpacking which is known as, let's say here it is, I'm just giving like tuple item 1, tuple item 2, tuple item 3, okay, the t3, and I'm just giving like tuple here, okay, a tuple. We can also do a unpacking of a tuple. So let's say if I'm giving t2 here or t3 here, here you can see t3 is actually 13. It is going to be printed as 13. If I'm running this program, it is unpacking as 13. So same concept we have actually used here for unpacking. Okay, same concept I have used here for unpacking. Like I'm just taking the input num1, num2, num3, splitting it, split returns a list. Then I'm unpacking it to three variables. Those three variables I'm passing it to function. So this is how I'm doing it. So this is the takeaway from here. So in function body, it is very, very simple. It takes three parameters n1, n2, n3, and it returns the sum of the three parameters. Like now, if you are giving like sum n1, n2, n3, it is returning n1 plus n2 plus n3, right? If I'm giving, let's say for example, sum of, I'm just giving number here, but it's not mandatory that we should actually always give number. I can give here like sum of A, then BC, then DEF. This is also going to work because in this case it is all string. We are not specifying anything here. We are giving n1, n2, n3. It is giving n1 plus n2, n3. Let us see like what is going to happen here. If I'm running this program and passing 1, 2, and 3, and here it is saying 1, 2, 3 is 1, 2, 3. A plus BC plus DEF is equal to ABC DEF, because this is here it is concatenation, okay, this is a concat operation. I'm just writing like in details, so just concat operation, but here it is all like addition. Depends on what value we are actually passing. Here also addition. Okay, now if I want to have some function, let me like put together this one. I don't actually type it again and again, so I'm just uncomment. I'll just uncomment it later. Okay, so now sum of, here I'm just giving like 12.5, 100, then 2.35. Now I want the sum of this. Run the program and get the things done. So this is like anything is possible. One function does string concatenation, adds like any kind of numbers. It could be a decimal number or a floating point number. It can also take number from the user in the runtime, unpack it, okay, and then print it as per the requirement. So that's all about like how we can actually pass different type of functions, so different type of arguments to a function. And in this case, we have done through like a string and a number, right? Numbers and string. Now, what if your input is actually a list? Okay, before we proceed to the list, let us do one thing. Let us check here where are we? We are actually passing arguments to the function. Hope you are familiar with the function definition and the signature, and then as well as the passing arguments to the function, how we are actually passing the argument and calling the function. The next topic here is like the various type of arguments. Interesting thing that you should actually remember, and then will be passing like mutable arguments and immutable arguments. data types basically. Okay, the argument should be a mutable item and immutable item. Let us see. Now here I'm just going to write like a function, param, or you can say argument, string. String, I'm just going to give another example here, explicit one. Let us understand like what is the difference. Let's say I have a function here, let's say demo. I'm just giving like a define demo, and here it takes like string argument. Okay, to get rid of like the convention here, I'm just going to give like a str1, because str is by default some special meaning is there. So let us use like str1. So now here I'm just going to print, or I can give a meaningful name over there instead of str1. Just giving name. That's it. Print. Here I'm just giving welcome, comma name. Okay. Now I'm just giving name equals to let's say Subhasis Samantre. Now look at here. Print again welcome name. Print again welcome name. I'm just modifying it basically. Now name equals to here. I'm just giving here Sai. Okay. Now I'm just calling here demo, or before I call, I'm just giving like print. I'm just giving print um, name. That's it. Print name, and then calling the function like demo, and demo. I'm just passing the name. Now let us see what will be the output here. Let's say I'm just giving here in the main. So this is the in the main body. What is the name? So now then we are calling demo function, and demo function we are passing Sai here, and then here we are actually trying to print. So it should print like welcome Sai. The name is Subhasis Samantre. Then it should print welcome Subhasis Samantre. Now after calling the function, I am just giving here like after the function call. Okay, after the demo function call, in this case nothing is going to change. It will be like Sai again. Let us try to understand like now how it is working. Even though we are assuming like it should print Subhashi Samantra, here it should not. Okay, so here also you can actually verify in the main Sai welcome to Sai. At this point welcome to Sai, the name has been changed to Subhashi Samantra. It is printing welcome to Subhashi Samantra. After the demo function call, when we are actually printing what is the name value, it is still referencing to Sai. So remember guys, when we are actually doing this type of call, it is not going to change the value. Never. Okay, string is like immutable. Like here we are actually passing, it's just like taking the value as is. It's not doing like any reference. But in case of we are having a list or we are having a dictionary, right? In that cases, definitely the value will be changed in the original list or original dictionary. Okay, so this is how we can actually take the input as string and then deal with it. Now let me write another program where we are going to pass a list as argument to the function. Now Python file, now function list as list as argument. Python file here. I'm just giving here like define. Again, I'm just giving like demo, or here I can specify a list one as argument. Now here let us see print list is. I'm just giving a list item. List is. I'm just giving like list one. List is list one. Giving a space here for readability. Now I'm just giving list one of 0. I'm just modifying it. I'm just giving Subbu. Now print list is. What is the list here? And list one. Now here I'm just giving like it could be anything. Let's say I'm just giving L1. L1 equals to 10, comma 20, comma 30, comma 40. Okay. Now print this is in the main. In the main, what is the list value, like L1 value? Then I'm just calling the function demo of L1, demo of L1. Now here I'm just giving, like after the function call, after demo call, let us look at here. I'm just printing L1, passing 10, 20, 30, 40, sorry, 10, 20, 30, 40 at items of this list. Then we are printing the list. It should print like no main 10, 20, 30, 40. Then demo of L1, I'm just passing L1 list. Here you can say it is list 1, not demo 1. So L1. Now here the list 1, I'm just modifying list 1 of 0 equals to Subbu. Now here you can see it should print 10, 20, 30, 40. Here it should print Subbu 20, 30, 30, 40. And then here it is going to also print Subbu 20, 30 and 40. If I'm running this program, this is very simple program. If you are able to understand like now how it is working, then you will not be confused with real-time requirements. In case of string, no change. In case of list, it is changing the original list itself because it's just the same reference to the same list. Like if you want to actually understand, let's say for example, I'm just giving like an L1 dot delete, or we can see like L1 dot remove, right? L1 dot remove, removing, I'm just removing 40. Okay, now 40 has been removed. If I do here print L1 of this, we can do any operation here. It is done. Now L1 dot add, or we can actually append. Actually, we can do not add. We can actually do append. Now append, I'm just giving here Python class. Python class. Now here I'm just going to check what is the modified value here. This is within the function itself. Now outside the function also we are going to check it. Now this is the method or function what it is, like now what we are actually trying to do, passing L1, then adding Subbu, replacing index 0 value as Subbu, then removing 40 from the list, then adding or appending Python class. That means 40 will be removed, Python class will be appended, and then here we are actually printing L1. It will be having the modified list. If I'm running this program, here you can see it has like all the data which is modified Subbu 2030 Python class, Subbu 2030 Python class inside the list. After the demo call also it does the same. So this is how it is actually going to treat the list as argument. Now, if I want to pass a dictionary as argument, how it is going to work? Let us understand by writing a program how, let's say, how the function is going to treat dictionary as argument. Dictionary as argument, IRG. So now here, if I'm running a program, here I'm just giving define, let's say define demo again. I'm just giving a demo here, and then I'm just giving like D1 has been dictionary 1, or I can say like DICT1 dict1, and then here we go. I'm just giving, okay, before I write the function here, let me do one thing over here, like I define a dictionary. I'm just giving info about Subbu. I'm just giving here I'm just giving name equals to name is Subbu, key value pair, right? So here I'm just giving location I'm just giving India, or I can say Bangalore, and then here I'm just giving another item that is like I'm just giving here like job is colon, here I'm just giving trainer. Okay, so now here I'm just giving like name Subbu, location Java trainer. Now here you can see if I'm giving this details like info here, info is here, I'm just going to call the info function in the dictionary body. Let's say, sorry, in the demo body, like demo function call. I'm just going to call the dictionary like this, demo of info. Now what I can actually do here is I can actually check here. First, let us print the dictionary as is, DICT1, dictionary as is. Then we'll extend it, okay? Now, print the dictionary. Here info, we are calling demo info. And here it is like a parameter says like, that be only one parameter. We are not defining any type. Guys, remember in Python, there is no typing in the functions or anywhere. Now here, I'm just giving like, print dictionary one. If I'm running this program, here you can see it is saying name, Subbu, location, Bangalore, job and trainer. Now, if I'm specifying here, let's say my location I want to change. Location I want to change, I can actually change the dictionary one of location. I'm just changing like my location to India, making it global, right? India here. Now, here I'm just giving after the modification what I have here, okay? Dictionary, right? And after the demo function call, or before the demo function call, I can say print of info, and after the demo function call, I want to print the info here, like here, after function call, and this one is before function call, before function call. This is interesting, and writing very simple programs to make you familiar. I'm not going to write any complex program because my objective is to make you familiar with the concepts. Now look at here. Before the function call, it was having like name, location is Bangalore, job trainer. Now it is printing demo info. If you look at here, it is printing the same thing, name, location Bangalore, job trainer. Then we have modified the locations to India, then it is all done, right? Modified and it is all done. Now after the function call, it is actually replacing the location value from Bangalore to India. Now if I want to do something like this, like dictionary one dot pop, and pop up what? I'm just saying like pop the job, pop the job. Now here I can say like print dictionary one of the pop of the job. So now here you can see, let us see what is the output over here, right? Now function call. Here you can see only location and name. If I'm running this program, here you can see it is location and name. Okay, so it is popping out the trainer here. So what it does here right now, what we understood from this program is it references to the same value, right? So now here there is something known as commenting, like this function is going to deal with a dictionary argument. Sure. This is known as documentation comment, duck string. Why we call it as actually duck string? Because it is going to give us the information about the function. Now here are you able to see this function is going to deal with a dictionary argument. Let's say if I'm giving here like in a Subbu, here also if you focus, you can actually find out the information about the documentation. It's saying this function is going to deal with the dictionary argument, this Subbu. Now, if I'm not having this line, okay, if I'm not having this line, now if I'm focusing here, now see here it doesn't give anything. So guys, remember, whenever you are actually getting the information about any functions or anything like now, any inbuilt functions or predefined functions or techno functions within a module or user defined function, if you are having the documentation string over here, let's say I'm just giving here to use, how to use, okay, use it what, demo followed by a dictionary, demo followed by a dictionary, okay, dictionary. Okay, this is what I have defined. Now look at here. If I am actually going to focus here, you can see the information. Okay, so this is how we can actually use demo followed by a dictionary. Okay, so this is how it is going to work. So now these are known as documentation or documentation comment or duck string. Okay, duck string or documentation comments. So now that's all about when you are actually passing the dictionary as argument to the function. Now if I want to pass a tuple as argument to a function, a tuple as an argument to a function. Now look at here. Now here I'm just giving function tuple as argument, right? Now here we go. Here I'm just giving define demo, and here I'm just giving top1. Okay. Now print, just giving top1 here. That's it. Now definition is done. Here I am just giving a function, let's say my tuple1, I'm just giving t1 because I could have actually used a meaningful name, that's fine. I'm just giving 10, 20 and then Subbu. Tuple items are immutable. The tuple is immutable, and items it can contain anything, but tuple is actually immutable. Now if I'm specifying demo of T1, it can actually print, the tuple as is 10, 20 and 30. If you want to actually iterate a tuple, definitely we can do, let's say for item in top1, here I'm just giving print of, I'm just giving here the tuple item as item, and then okay, and here I can give end equals to something like this. Okay, now here if I'm running the program, here you can see what it is actually printing. It is printing 10, 20 and Subbu. Anything is possible. This is how the tuple you can pass as argument to a function. So I have shown you how to pass numbers, how to pass floating point numbers, decimal numbers, then strings, then dictionary, then list. List as actually argument. We have actually gone through here list as argument. Then we have actually gone through this one as well, to pass tuple as argument. Whether we can pass a set as argument. Okay, so now here I'm just giving function set as argument. Set as argument Python file. I'm defining define demo again, and then here I'm just giving set1. Now here we go, and I'm just printing the set1. Then we'll do later point of time. We'll actually do an operation over here set1. Here if I'm giving set1 equals to, again the set will be like this, let's say 1023, this is my ID, then I have Subbu, and then I can have the location preferences, let's say in India, and then US, and then I have UK. It's my preferences to countries, just given that, then passing the function argument demo of h1. Now if I'm running this program, here you can see it is actually printing the tuple, the set as is. Now if I want to actually fetch the items in any order, then what I can do here is for item in or I in, anything is fine, item in, item in. Here I can specify, here we go, set1, right? And in the set1, let me do one thing, pub right now print. We can definitely do one thing, print set1 dot pub. Set1.pub. Set with pub doesn't require any arguments. Other day we have actually gone through it. So let me run this program and then show you. Now, okay, set sidechain during the iteration. One moment. So what's going wrong here? First items in set1, runtime set change to okay. We'll do one thing. Okay, I got it. What is the problem? So while set1 and then while set1 dot pub, let us see what's going to happen here. Okay, so now it is actually printing in any order. Is there any guarantee that it is actually going to print in this order? We cannot actually iterate because the set item is actually changing the size. So I'll just let you know, we have gone through it actually, how to deal with that in our previous sessions, but somehow I was actually doing the mistake. So now here we go. So now while set1, here you can see set1.pub. Here you can see like it is printing the preferences followed by my ID, then Subbu. If I run it again, the output is actually in different order, right? And if you want to like change anything, okay, so those things also possible. Let's say I want to delete something from here. Let's say set1 dot remove, okay, dot remove. I'm just giving here like no Subbu, remove Subbu. Now if I'm calling this, okay, let me do one thing before the function call. I'm just giving like no print before function call. What was my set value? And then after function call, what is my set value? I'm just missing comma here. And after the function call, what is my set value? This is after. Okay, so now if I'm running this program, definitely, guys, remember set items are immutable. Set is mutable. That means Subbu will be removed, and here after the function call, you cannot see Subbu in the original set. If I'm running this program, here you can see okay, the key is actually Subbu, what went wrong, remove. I can actually see here set1 dot remove. Let's say I'm just giving here it's 1 2 3 4. Okay, so something is going wrong here. Okay, anyway, I'll just let you know. Set remove, it should ideally work. Okay, anyway, I'll just like we'll just do it later point of time. When we'll deal with like now the complex data types, I'll just give you example there. So that's fine. So now here we go, and this is how it is actually going to work. Okay, I'm just not writing this one, so that's fine. So we can actually do various kind of manipulations like this. Let's say if I'm having a requirement where I want to okay, one more thing. Let us explore further like now that error message why it has come. Set1 dot remove self and element. We do have the okay, guys, I got it. What is the error message here? We are actually doing a pop. After popping, the set itself is actually becoming empty. If set is becoming empty, how do we print it? We cannot actually print it. So that is the reason why it was actually not printing. Let me convert this one to a while loop, and we can actually do this. Okay, sorry, convert into a for loop for that's I in set1, right? And here I can actually use a print. So the perf is not going to work. We can actually use a print over here and then giving a print of I, and then set1 dot remove. It should actually work. I was wondering like now what went wrong here. I can give here Subbu. It was throwing key error because it was not working as expected. So now if I'm running this program, here we go. Set item 1, the name of Subbu. Here we go. Let me see. One moment. Okay, so we'll just try that out later. Let me reset it again. I think there's something I'm just missing, but yeah, we'll just look at actually later point of time. So that's fine. Or else we can actually directly remove the list from here. Also, it is possible, right? We can actually get something like this: set one dot remove, and then I can actually pass Subbu here. Okay, so Subbu will be actually removed, and here you can see after the function call, it should actually remove it. Now, if I'm running this program, here you can see after the function call, the set itself is actually empty. Okay, why it is actually empty? Because we are actually using a pup. We are using pup. We can actually find out, let's say for example, whenever you want to print any items in the random order, right, from a set, uh, we can actually do that, like using the pop method. We can actually do that, or else in set, we have gone through various methods, right? So all the methods you can actually try it. Okay, some reason I was actually creating a mess, so that's fine. So now this is how we can actually do that. And then if you want to test it without having a while loop here, let's say pass the set, and if it is having Subbu, then remove it. Like there is something known as remove. Remove is not going to throw any error. Let's say for example, if I'm focusing on here, right, and the remove, you can see it here. But let's say here I'm just giving s1 dot remove, right? And if I'm focusing on remove, we can actually see the documentation. In the remove an element from a set, it must be a member. If the element is not present, raise a key error. But instead of remove, if I'm giving delete, or we can actually discard, we are giving discard, and then it's not delete, it's discard. If I'm giving discard of Subbu, discard is actually not going to throw any error. That is the difference between remove and discard. So we can actually play around any function you want to do. You can actually play around. In this case, if I'm actually using a simplified version, right, without any loop, without popping and all, passing a set, removing Subbu if it is there, then you can see before the call, you can see everything. After the call, Subbu has been removed. If I'm running this program, here you can see like Subbu, then all these values over here, items here, and here the Subbu has been removed. So a number of operations we can basically do. Now the question is, can we use mixed type of arguments? Let's say for example, I want a dictionary as argument, then followed by function mixed arguments. Okay, here yes, mixed arguments will be using a demo function define demo function. I'm just expecting a dictionary as argument, then followed by a list as argument, followed by tuple as argument, followed by set as argument, a string as argument, and then num1. Okay, and I'm just having a floating point number one. Okay, so now this is my function. Now in this function, I'm just going to define let's say I'm just going to write print d1.keys, d1.keys. That means it is going to print only d1.keys. Okay, now print d1.values, values. Okay, then I'm just giving print the list as is, print list one. Now print, let's say, sum of all the tuple items. That's tuple one. Okay, sum of tuple one. Now print set, set as is s1. Now print, I'm just giving your str1 into three times. Now print the num1 plus fn1, fn1. That's it. Now if I'm calling the function demo with a dictionary, the first argument is dictionary. I'm just giving name colon. Here I'm just giving okay, let me do one thing for simplification. I'm just going to use, let's say, dictionary one equals to, here I'm just giving name equals to Subbu. Subbu. Then here I'm just giving subject equals to subject, giving Python function. Okay, that's it. And then we do have a list one, I think, right? Dictionary list, tuple, set, string, number, and then string. Number, string, and floating point number. Now I'm having a list one. In the list one, I'm having 10, 20, Subbu. Okay. Then tuple one, I'm using a sum function. Let me use only numbers 10, 20, 30. Okay. And then set one, I'm just giving anything we can actually specify. I'm just giving Python, AWS, and I'm just giving here, let's say Azure. Okay, so now set one is there. Now I'm just going to call the function. I'm just calling demo function. In the demo function, I'm just going to pass the dictionary one, comma list one, that is list one, then comma tuple one, then comma set one, then comma 100, comma 25.3. If I'm doing this, let us look at the result. Now here demo missing one required positional argument fn1. What is that fn1? Why it is missing? So let me see what went wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is set one, then string one. We need to actually pass a string one. Now string one, I'm just giving like now Subbu or Subhasis. Okay. Now look at here. If I'm running this program, here you can see dictionary keys, name and subject, dictionary value Subbu Python function, then list as then sum of all the tuple items, tuple 10, 20 and 30 is 60. Then we do have the set as then we are printing Subhasis 3 times, right? The string actually 3 times. Then printing like and the sum of number and the floating point. So this is how we can actually pass like n number of arguments and then manipulate it accordingly. Okay, so this is how we can actually do various type of function calls. Now let us go back here and try to understand what is done so far. We are actually done with like passing the argument to the function. Then we are actually done with like all type of arguments, strings, list, tuples, dictionaries, set, all the type of combinations and all. So that's all about like how it is actually going to work. The next topic here is scope. The scope is global, local, and non-local. This is the last topic for today. Okay, global, local, and non-local. I'm just going to write examples to make you understand about the scope of the variables within function and outside of the function. Now, function, I'm just giving like variable scope. Function variable scope. Let's say I'm just writing a function define demo. And guys, remember, we can have n number of functions, okay, inside like nested functions. If inside if is known as nested if, while inside while is also allowed, that is nested while loop, right? Similarly, for inside for we can use function inside function also we can actually use a function within a function, that is also we can actually use. Let's say demo, I have a function. Inside demo, I have a variable, let's say for example name equals to Subbu. I'm just going to write very small program just to make you familiar like how it is working. Let's say it is actual name I'm just having like global, I'm just giving like global name equals to Subbu. Or here I'm just giving, or we can actually do one thing, let it be like a name equals to Subbu. Then here what I'm going to do, I'm just going to print here, you can see print welcome, comma name. Okay, welcome comma name. So now it is actually going to print welcome Subbu. Now here I am having another function define demo1. Demo1 is actually within demo. Okay, now here I am having a location equals to location equals to Bangalore, Bangalore, right? Here I'm just giving like print welcome, one moment, welcome, and then here I'm just giving name, here I'm just giving name, and then as well as I'm just setting the name equals to Subhasis and welcome name, then print welcome to here I'm just giving location. So this is what like in the functions, and define demo1 is within demo. If you want to actually minimize it, you can actually do like this. Okay, if you want to expand it, you can actually expand it like this. Okay, so now I'm just calling demo function. Let us see the result. Like calling the demo function, let us see the result. Now look at here. It is saying like welcome Subbu. Okay, I need to call the function explicitly outside also, right? So demo1 is a definition. So you need to call it within the function, otherwise it is not going to work. Now, if I'm running this program, here you can see, look at here, the error messages. Okay, from here we can actually understand what's happening. If you are actually specifying here, right, here if you are specifying demo and demo1, we are actually referencing to name. Let us try to understand here. We are having name here, name Subhasis, and name here. In this case, we are having a local name which is pointing to Subhasis. Okay, but this name, we are assuming that it should actually point to Subbu. It is not working. Now let us interpret the error. Now what it is saying, unbound error, local variable name reference before the assignment. Why? Because in function, everything is actually known as local variables. Why local variables? Because we cannot actually reference any variables which is not in this function scope. Let's say, for example, we are thinking that this name should be available here. Subbu should be available here, but Subbu is not available. Why? Because the scope is by default local. The scope is by default local. Now, you can ask me how we can actually make the name scope as global. The keyword is actually global. Okay, the keyword is global. The syntax is global followed by the variable name. You are defining global name. Then you can specify here name equals to Subbu. Let us see what is going to happen. Now, if I'm running this program right now, here you can see it is saying again the variable is actually used before the assignment. Now how we can actually deal with this, so now to make it work, like what we can actually do, let's say for example, if I'm having a program having a program which is having a nested function, basically in that case how we can actually identify, right, how we can actually identify that this particular function we need to actually use, right? Sorry, this particular variable we are actually going to use. Like in this case, we are telling it's a global, but still it is not working. It's saying no, I cannot actually understand what you are actually trying to do. Guys, remember there are actually three different types of scope. One is global, local, and non-local. Non-local means you are telling the program that I'm actually going to reference one variable. Let's say, for example, here global instead of global, the use case is actually a little different. I'll just come back here, so don't worry about it. Now name equals to Subbu. I'm having Subbu here in the outer function, that is demo. Now here I'm just saying, hey, let me comment out this line. Here I'm just saying, look at here. I'm just giving the non-local. I'll just come back to global. Just give me a second, okay? non-local name. I'm just specifying non-local name. Let us see what is going to happen in this program. Now control shift F10 if I'm going to do, here you can see welcome Subbu, welcome to Subhasis, welcome to Bangalore. If I'm going to refer this particular variable here, I'm just going to specify, let's say print uh, the value of name is the value of name is the value of name is I'm just specifying here a value of name. I'm just giving here 1 second. Name is name. Okay, now we'll try to understand whether at this particular point of time it is actually pointing to Subhasis or Subbu. Okay, Subhasis or Subbu. If I'm running this program, here you can say it is actually pointing to Subhasis. The moment you are actually telling this is not a local one, this is actually a non-local one, the scope will be available even if after the function body also. But if you are not specifically telling like your location, for example, if I am actually giving like a location is actually not local. So now location is actually local. If I'm giving location is LOC, the value of LOC is this one, it should actually throw error because the scope of this variable is not available outside of the function because we are not using non-local. One is not specifying anything, it is local. Here is also name is local, which is local to demo function. Demo1 we are having location, which is again local to the demo1 function. Outside of the demo1 function body, you cannot actually refer this variable. If I'm actually going to refer this, it is going to throw error. Now see it here, it is actually throwing error. Location is not defined, name error. So now we cannot do this. Now going back to my previous example, okay, before we go back to the previous example, I'm just going to now show you something interesting here, that is function non-local. If you are not using function non-local, then what is going to non-local? What is going to happen here? Now I am having a program like this, okay? Now think we are not having non-local. I'm just commented out. Now name equals to Subbu, name equals to Subhasis, right? So now name equal to Subbu, it is going to print Subbu. Then name equal to Subhasis, it is going to print Subhasis here. Outside of the demo one, the name is still going to point it to Subbu. Now in this case, it is going to point it to Subbu. But if I give a non-local name, the value will be actually changed to Subhasis. Now this is how it works. Now look at here, it is actually the value of name is actually Subbu. Subbu, it was changed to Subhasis in demo 1, but here it is actually still pointing to Subbu. If you want to make the changes outside of the function call, just after this line, let's say for example line number 8, it is the value is rewritten to Subhasis. Then at this point of time, you want the value should be available throughout the program, then you should actually have a non-local length. Okay, not defining anything, no keyword, it's local. Having you want to make it non-local, explicitly specify non-local. Now I'm just going to tell you one more scope that is known as global scope. Global scope, which was we are trying at first, it did not work. Now I'm just going to write it here, function global scope. Global scope. Now I'm just going to write a function, let's say define demo, again the same program we are going to write, and then we'll understand how to make the scope as global. Now global means it should actually available outside of the function too. We do not use it in the chain functions or nested functions. We use it outside the function ideally. Let's define demo I'm just giving, and in the demo I have a variable global. Let's say I'm just giving name. Okay, it is in small case name. Okay, so now here I'm just giving name equals to Subhasis. Okay, now I'm just giving location equals to Here I'm just giving India. Okay. Now print name, comma location. This is within the function. Okay. So now if I'm calling the demo function, it should actually print like Subhasis and then the location. Subhasis, the location is actually printed, like Subhasis India is getting printed. Now I want to see what is the value of name. Global means we are defining within the function, but the scope is actually available outside of the function too. Scope is available outside of the function too. If I'm running this program, here you can see it is actually Subhasis here. If I'm giving like print the name instead of name, I'm just giving here like location. Like here, if I'm running the program, we are going to definitely going to throw error. I mean, the system is going to throw error, name error, because this is not defined in our program, right? Defined in our program. Now key error, location is not defined. Okay, so now let us go back to our previous program function non-local scope I was actually showing, right? Now look at here. Here we have given like non-local name, for example, non-local name. Whether this non-local name is available after the function call, the answer should be no. If I give like a name here, it should not be available outside of the function. See here, non-local name. Here it should actually print Subbu. Here it should print Subhasis. Outside of this function also it should actually print like here it should print Subhasis. Okay, it should print Subhasis. Okay, because it's non-local. But here it should actually throw error. Now let us see, because it's not global. Okay, now it is saying key error name is not defined. So now guys, remember, whenever you want the some variable scope to be global, like inside inside the function body, you are defining a variable and want to make the scope of that variable as global, use it as global. You want that will be outside of the function. In the main itself, the scope will be available. You have like nested functions. You want the value of inner function or a particular variable which is defined in the inner function to be available outside of that particular function, use non-local. And if you're not using anything, then that is local. So local, non-local, global. Definitely, if you're going to appear any interview, right, and you should actually get these questions like the scope of the variables within the function. They may ask like the questions, explain what is global going to use, explain local and local and non-local and the use cases. So these are the use cases of the function variable scope. So with this, we are actually done for the day, and then we will actually, we are already covered. Why did I cover this one? Because mutable and immutable properties of arguments, it's already done. Like string, numbers and all, even if you are changing, there will be no impact. But list, tuples, dictionaries, even if we are actually changing inside the function, the scope will be actually available to the outside, because it is same variable, we are referencing the same variable. So we are actually done with this section. Then also function arguments, we are actually familiar, but I'll tell you like various type of functional arguments. We are having 4 types of function arguments. Okay, one is positional arguments. What is positional argument? What is default argument versus non-default arguments? Then what is a keyword argument? That keyword argument, also known as keyword argument and arbitrary keyword arguments. Like dictionary you can pass, like n number of variables you can actually pass, key value pairs you can actually pass. Then we can pass as a tuple. Right now we can pack it as pack and unpacking of variables, like packing as a tuple, then sending into function and then retrieving it. So those kind of things. So these are the core concepts which are actually left. So it will take like close to 1 hour or something to understand those things. Once you are actually done with that, then we'll go through return and nested function. Nested functions are just given like small few examples. Again, we'll go through it like how the nested function is actually going to work. And then the last topic I'm just going to tell you is lambda functions. Then if you guys are actually able to understand, interpret what we are actually discussing, then we can actually go over the respective topics like map, filter, and all this stuff. Okay, and thank you. I'm done for the day.